Hello, my name is Gina Sinsky, and I'm an associate professor at the University of California, San Francisco. Today, I'll be discussing effective interventions for health workforce well-being. Here are my learning objectives. Since we're talking about well-being interventions, I want to start by discussing the definition of well-being. Well-being is not simply the absence of burnout, it is something more. Professional well-being comes from being satisfied with our jobs, finding meaning and fulfillment in our work, feeling engaged at work, and having a high-quality working life. Why is well-being an urgent issue? It comes down to severe staffing shortages in healthcare. As more people leave healthcare, the remaining individuals are tasked with doing the same amount of work with less resources. So, let's build our well-being toolkits. There are three levels of interventions for well-being: individual, organizational, and societal. In addition, I believe there is an additional layer between individual and organizational interventions, which is interpersonal, i.e., how colleagues at work interact with one another. For today's talk, I'll focus on individual, interpersonal, and organizational interventions. All of my references will be listed at the end of this talk. Now let's start with individual well-being interventions. Here are some concrete strategies with the 2022 U.S. Surgeon General's advisory. First, learn to recognize the signs of distress in yourself and in your colleagues. You can start with a simple question for yourself or peers. How are you doing, really? Next, stay connected and reach out for help. Identify 2 to 3 friends or family members whom you can lean on during moments when you feel overwhelmed, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Next, prioritize moments of joy and connection. This may mean returning to old hobbies, spending times with friends and family, or trying to do something new when you're ready. Next, get back to basics with good health habits. Eating, sleep, exercise, limiting alcohol, and some harmful substance use can help. A 10-minute walk outside in sunlight can help improve your energy and focus. Finally, use your voice to advocate for positive changes in your workplace or communities. Here are some interventions that fall into the interpersonal realm. Professional coaching has been shown to help with well-being in medicine by improving knowledge, skills, and attitude. Here are 12 tips for developing a coaching program. I will be including references that include all of these tips. Peer support is a great way to improve well-being. I want to highlight Battle Buddies as a rapidly deployable program for peer support. Battle Buddies is a one-to-one peer support program derived from U.S. Army practice. Peers are matched on demographics, professional roles, and seniority. The focus is on listening, validating experiences, and providing feedback. It requires few resources and is self-sustaining. Now let's move on to organizational well-being interventions. Today, I'll introduce you to 2 concrete tools that work synergistically to address well-being at the organizational level. The first is the Well-Being Influencers Survey for Healthcare, or WISH, which is a metric that examines the influencers of well-being. The second is the Quality of Life Improvement Approach, or QALY, which is a step-by-step method to design and implement well-being initiatives. Together, they help you determine the well-being pain points at your organization and address them. You can find detailed instructions on how to use these tools by accessing the references in this list or scanning the QR code. WISH looks at 8 influencers of well-being. Unlike many other well-being metrics, which may come at a high cost, WISH is freely available. It also examines the influencers of well-being and burnout upstream, rather than simply asking if someone is burnt out. QALY incorporates quality improvement, human-centered design, and implementation science into a pragmatic step-by-step approach to operationalizing well-being. It centers on 3 questions. Why is this problem important? What are we going to do about it? And how do we keep improving? QALY emphasizes stakeholder engagement, i.e., involving frontline clinicians in decision-making. It also focuses on identifying the correct problem instead of jumping to solutions. I'll also be showing you some actionable practices to enhance well-being at your organization. You can improve working conditions via input from frontline clinicians, and this is where Wish and Quali can be very helpful. You can create recurring forums for recognition, provide professional development opportunities, promote cultures of shared decision-making, and cultivate cultures of support. In summary, health workforce well-being is an urgent issue. Well-being interventions exist at different levels, and we need a toolbox of well-being interventions. You can scan this QR code for my references for this talk. Believe it or not, we are all leaders. Think about your sphere of influence. What are things within your control and things that you can influence? How can we make things better for ourselves and our colleagues? Thank you for your attention. I would love to continue this conversation, so please stay in touch.